Thank you. We may have our seats. Once again, Excellencies, heads of delegations, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I request we have our eyes on the screens for some nice videos from EU and Kenya Coast Guard Service.
Across the world's oceans, over 80% of global trade moves silently across the sea. Energy flows. Supply chains connect continents. Fisheries sustain communities. Undersea cables carry the digital pulse of our economies. The maritime domain is not just water. It is infrastructure. It is commerce. It is sovereignty. It is security. And today, it is increasingly contested. Illicit trafficking, illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, hybrid threats, sabotage of critical infrastructure, escalating geopolitical tension.
Maritime threats are fast evolving. More networks, more complex. And whilst navies, coast guards, maritime and customs authorities are at the front line of maritime security, information sharing and operational coordination often remain fragmented because systems are not connected.
In moments of crisis, delay is vulnerability. That's why maritime security requires shared awareness.
Maritime centres may lack real-time situational awareness. As such, they are unable to provide a complete picture to the operational decision makers. Similarly, operational units may only see part of the picture. Likewise, regional partners may detect anomalies, but they cannot share the information securely or quickly enough to support the operational decision making.
Ioris was designed to close this gap. It connects authorized stakeholders across agencies and borders through a secure, governed framework, linking navies, coast guards, maritime and port authorities, fisheries, and even shipping.
It helps us overcome our geographic challenge. New Zealand and our South Pacific neighbours, we're a long way from anywhere else. We have low populations, large maritime areas, so the ability to cooperate with each other using Ioris and its secure communications helps us coordinate that support.
Ioris access is aligned with national and regional legal frameworks and data sovereignty requirements.
Ioris is, of course, an indispensable tool for the agency, as like the National Coastal Center, because it provides a secure and seamless communications platform where agencies can communicate and pass information, intelligence in a secure way. And we've seen that Ioris is very effective in this aspect.
When unusual behavior at sea is detected or distress messages received, the AIS transponder signal lost, operators can flag the event and share information with counterparts.
Bueno, para nosotros este sistema nos permite cooperar e intercambiar información entre los diferentes organismos de la Armada y con otros países, obviamente, de la región en el combate a actividades ilícitas.
Counterparts are informed by messaging coupled to a common situational picture. Response is faster. Coordination is smooth. Risk is reduced.
Ce qui est important sur Ioris pour une opération de recherche et sauvetage, c'est que avec Ioris, on peut faire un forum d'échange où les parties prenantes pour une opération SAR peuvent être incluses et comme ça, pas besoin d'envoyer à chacun un message sur Ioris, sur la plateforme Ioris, le forum, on peut envoyer un message et les destinataires peuvent voir les actions qu'ils doivent entreprendre.
In an era of complex threats, maritime safety and security cannot be achieved in isolation. With shared awareness comes shared resilience, greater confidence between partners, more efficient and easier search and rescue operations, rapid interdiction of illicit activity. Today, we gather not only to discuss maritime safety and security, but to strengthen it together. Across the world's oceans, over 80% of global trade moves silently across the sea. Energy flows. Supply chain.
The future is not a distant horizon. It's a canvas waiting for the brushstrokes of our choices today. Planning is the compass that gives direction to our dreams, but action is the spark that turns vision into reality. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the fourth Ioris Steering Committee meeting in Mombasa, Kenya, where senior officials and high-level representatives from various agencies across the Indo-Pacific region gather to shape the future of Ioris and explore its latest development. Ioris is a secure, neutral digital platform designed to enhance maritime coordination, communication, and cooperation. Developed by the EU Crimerio project, it enables over 150 agencies in 50 plus countries to share intelligence, track vessels, and coordinate anti-piracy and anti-trafficking operations. Ioris is widely utilized by numerous agencies, including the Kenya Maritime Authority, RMRCC, Joint Operations Center, Kenya Ports Authority, the Kenya Navy, and our host, the amazing Kenya Coast Guard Service. The Kenya Coast Guard Service is a state agency established to enforce maritime security, safety, and environmental protection within Kenya's territorial waters and exclusive economic zone.
We are committed and dedicated to protect the coastline, preserving marine resources, and maintaining peace and order in our area of responsibility.
Comprising highly trained personnel from the military, police, and civilian experts, the Kenya Coast Guard Service conducts surveillance, search and rescue operations, and maritime law enforcement.
Through our community engagement programs, we partner with the local fisherfolk community and we empower them with skills, knowledge, and equipment for safety and survival at sea. We also register them on the Usalama Baharini application, which is a tool which they can use to report incidences at sea. We also partner with the local communities and engage with them in various sporting activities, all in a bid to enhance trust and collaboration between us and them.
The Kenya Coast Guard Service works hand in hand with Ioris to enhance maritime coordination, collaboration, and cooperation with national, regional, and international partners and ensure compliance with international maritime laws and power real-time communication amongst Ioris users across the globe. So welcome. Let's join together as we move from situational awareness to situational understanding and action. Because every step we take now is a seed planted in tomorrow's garden. And those who dare to prepare and act boldly are the ones who shape destiny.
Thank you. Thank you very much, media team. Thank you very much, media team, for those very nice videos. Excellencies, heads of delegations, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to invite Mr. Martin Kauke-Inglot, Director of EU Crimario, to deliver his keynote address. Mr. Inglot, sir, you have the floor.
Honorable Mas Murkomen, Andre Simek, Deputy Head of EU Delegation, distinguished admirals, commanders, director generals, commissioners, esteemed representatives of navies, coast guards, fisheries, customs, ports, and maritime authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, good morning and welcome all to Mombasa. Allow me to first of all thank the Kenya government and particularly the Kenya Coast Guard for hosting us here in this beautiful city of Mombasa. I also wish to thank every one of you for making this very long journey. Some have been for 36 hours, 2 nights in a flight. Just imagine that. Thank you. Others have even witnessed missiles approaching their airports whilst they are taking off. Believe that? So, all in all, I really want to thank you all for your commitment to join us today. This demonstrates the cooperation in maritime security, which really matters. Above all, this commitment demonstrates that despite our different uniforms, organizations, mandates, cultures, and languages, we share a common purpose: safer and more secure sea lines of communication. Whilst for centuries, our oceans have carried our commerce, our cultures, and our prosperity, today, the sea, more than ever, presents us with a plethora of intertwined challenges and threats, which I'm sure I do not need to list. But one reality remains constant. No single organization possesses the complete picture. But each organization holds a piece of the puzzle. And only when these pieces are brought together does the full picture emerge. And this is why cooperation is so important. Now, apart from the traditional list of maritime threats and challenges, there is another challenge which is more of a human nature. And this is sharing information, which unfortunately remains unnecessarily complicated. Complicated by bureaucracy, by language barriers, by organizational cultures, by politics, and by technology. Yet conversely, incidents at sea demand quick responses. And for this to happen, information must move quickly, clearly, securely, and to the right people. Addressing these human challenges is precisely EU Crimario's raison d'etre, established to enable organizations to work together for the common good. Our philosophy underpins everything we do. It's not purely about technology or software. It's not even about information. It's about people. And enabling those people to collaborate is what we are all about. So today it is an honor and a privilege to stand before you, not merely to speak about Ioris as a technology, but as a concept, which has now transformed it into a mindset, the technology being the vehicle. It is a belief that cooperation is stronger than isolation. It is a belief that trust can be built through daily interactions. Most importantly, Ioris has become a community of professionals who have collectively decided that building trust is worth the effort, because trust is the glue that holds us all together. Thanks to the Ioris mindset, communications among navies, coast guards, and maritime organizations is less fragmented. And though we are halfway along our journey, I am convinced that the credibility of our concept can only continue to grow with all your support. The results speak for themselves. In just 5 years, more than 150 organizations from 60 countries have joined the Ioris community. Today, amongst us, there are 100 organizations from 50 countries. So thank you for the trust. This is not because you were instructed to join the Ioris community. It's because you recognize the value of what Ioris brings to the game. And let me now dive into 3 areas where I feel we can deepen cooperation. Firstly, critical underwater infrastructures, submarine cables. These are the nervous systems of the global economy. They connect our governance, our markets, our societies, and our financial systems. No country can safeguard these infrastructures alone. It requires cooperation nationally, regionally, and globally. It requires military and civilian actors to work together. And it requires a trusted information sharing system. And perhaps Ioris can help bring a solution here. Secondly, the maritime industry. Every day, thousands of merchant vessels traverse the world's oceans to ensure for free flow of trade. But these vessels are not merely commercial assets. They can be an extraordinary set of eyes and ears at sea. Until now, 500 merchant vessels have used Ioris repetitively to communicate with frigates escorting them in the Red Sea. In the past week alone, there were 50 merchant ships on the system. This is not a future vision. This is already happening. So why not consider to continue promoting Ioris as an alternative to legacy systems such as VHF marine radio? Now let me dare make reference to the Straits of Hormuz for a minute. Imagine if the situation in the Gulf is suddenly unlocked. The 2,000 stranded ships with 20,000 seafarers on board want to exit and want to exit fast. And they need to exit through protected corridors. This would be an unprecedented global situation. How would communications be managed? Would VHF cope through email? So here again, I pose the question. Could Ioris be a solution? I would actually go one step further and make another ambitious proposal. Drawing parallels with flight information regions, could Ioris in time become the maritime equivalent of an international air control network? I know it is a few years down the line, but think about it. The final community I want to address, apart from merchant ships, is the civilian non-professional community. We have got fishermen, recreational boaters, and seafarers, who are often the first to witness incidents at sea. They can also contribute to maritime awareness. And this is why Crimario has embarked on another exciting initiative, which is the Marcom mobile app. It is not Ioris, it is separate from Ioris, but the beauty is that it can connect to Ioris So fishermen at sea, for example, in distress, can send messages to the Kenya Coast Guard Center on Ioris, similar what the Kenyans are doing with the Coastal app. Moving to the agenda. This will be divided into three, as Alex already explained. The first day is how Ioris serves the different sectoral communities. That will be the focus, and there are quite a number, as you know. Shipping, fishing, search and rescue, ports, etc., etc. Tomorrow we'll focus on how EU Cremario supports the partners in promoting maritime cooperation, and the third day will be on maritime governance. Ladies and gentlemen, before moving to my conclusion, allow me to share a personal reflection. I come from a small island country called Malta, which is in the center of the Mediterranean. I commanded this small coast guard for 7 years, 7 challenging years. During these 7 years, we conducted thousands of operations, many between Italy and Libya, most involving migrants. Many involved complex multinational coordination, all involved uncertainty. Looking back, I often wonder what difference Ioris could have made if such a system existed back then, as it would have allowed a simple, trusted, harmonized mechanism which perhaps could have saved many more lives. And this is why I am personally remain passionate about what we are building together, because at its heart, Ioris is not a software. It is not about maps, chat rooms, or technology. It is about the common good. It is about helping people. It is about transforming information into trust, trust into cooperation, and cooperation into action. Because ultimately, everything we do is guided by one simple belief. When good people work together, extraordinary things become possible. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Inglot. Indeed, no individual state holds monopolistic power, and therefore the need for information sharing. It is now my distinct pleasure to invite Mr. Bruno Aishioso, Director General for the Coast Guard Service, to deliver his keynote remarks. Director General, sir.
Thank you, MC. Honorable Onesmus Kipchumba Murkomen, EDH, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, Kenya, Mr. Martin Kauchi Inglot, Project Director, EU Cremario, Admirals and Generals present, CPA Omae Nyarandi, the DG of the Kenya Maritime Authority, distinguished delegates, all the partners present, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Jambo, Karibu Kenya. I stand before you all in humility and full of joy to welcome you to this year's 4th Ioris Steering Committee's high-level summit, which congregates delegates from across the Indo-Pacific, including as far as the Atlantic Ocean, to discuss shared maritime domain challenges and how best we can together surmount them through constant interactions and strategic cooperation. As Kenya Coast Guard Service, we feel extremely honored, not just for co-hosting this year's Ioris events, because they are supposed to be 2, but for your actual presence here today. It takes a personal commitment, sacrifices, and also great logistical nightmares to fly across the globe to make such a noble gathering a reality that it is now. Despite such efforts, it should nonetheless give us all satisfaction in the hope that our deliberations for the next 3 days will make our common waters and resources therein safer and freer for navigation. It is not for me to welcome you to Kenya. As the chief guest, the Honorable Minister and my line boss is here present and shall do the honors. Therefore, allow me, dear Excellencies, Generals and Admirals, and all delegates gathered to wish you a joyous stay and fruitful discussions during the summit. Asante, karibu Kenya, Kenya haina matata. Thank you.
Thank you, our Director General. I now again have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Andre Shumek, Deputy Director, Deputy Head of Delegation of the European Union to Kenya, to address this distinguished gathering. Welcome to the streets.
Thank you very much. CS Interior, Excellencies, distinguished representatives, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. It's truly an honor to welcome you to Mombasa for this 4th Ioris Steering Committee, which brings together partners from across the Indo-Pacific, Africa, Latin America, the Caribbean, and also beyond. Your presence here is a testament to our shared commitment to maritime security, safety, and cooperation in the era of growing challenges. And indeed, I think, like Martin already mentioned, I don't think we really have to list them here. Let me also thank very much to the government of Kenya for hosting this meeting here in Mombasa. And I think more broadly also for your leadership in the area of maritime security. We do have actually an increasingly deep security and defense cooperation between the European Union and Kenya, and maritime security is one of the areas, one of the priorities, if you like. And I will be spending the afternoon in the Kenya Navy base here in Mombasa to discuss precisely that and to also get some perspective on our future cooperation in this area. So very happy to be here. We as the EU, as the European Union, we are proud to stand with you in addressing the complex and the evolving threats to our shared maritime domain. We do have a rather comprehensive toolbox from naval operations to military and civilian missions and capacity building programs. We're investing in security stability and sustainability across the oceans. Let me just mention those 3 areas. We do have the maritime security missions. You must have heard, obviously, or participated or joined the EU NAVFOR Atalanta, and also our mission Aspides that continue to protect vulnerable shipping, counter piracy, and disrupt illicit trafficking in the Indian Ocean and the Red Sea, an area which is increasingly contested. Our military and civilian missions in Somalia and Mozambique, and also our growing security and defense cooperation when many of your countries strengthen local capacities to combat maritime crime and more broadly to support your capacity to counter various threats. Our flagship programs such as EU Crimario, for which we are gathering here today, Safe Seas for Africa, the Red Sea Program, and Global Port Safety empower partners to tackle IUU fishing, port vulnerabilities, and critical infrastructure risks. We also, of course, have cooperation programs of our individual member states, including France, Germany, Italy, Spain, the Netherlands, and Denmark. And I'm really pleased to also see some of our defense attachés that are based here in Kenya participating in this meeting. And they too are contributing naval assets, training, and resources to bolster maritime security in these regions. So my message is we as the EU do our part. We are open to do more, and we need your input for that. We have, of course, made quite a significant progress against piracy, trafficking, and terrorism, but we do face emerging threats that demand urgent collective action. The rapid expansion of the shadow fleet poses triple threat. I think you are aware of that probably more than me. The environmental disasters, the tankers that are poorly maintained, of course, risk catastrophic oil spills, and they have devastating impact for coastal communities. We've seen this several times. Maritime safety, ships that are not insured, they're not tracked, then they, of course, endanger navigation and seafarers themselves. And then we have the sanctions evasion and bad governance of ship registries. These ships fuel illegal activities, undermining global security, but also distorting fair competition and going against the international rules-based order. And the international rules-based order is something that we as the European Union are pushing very strongly for, and we of course welcome your cooperation and partnership in coming along with us. Critical maritime infrastructure was mentioned already, increasing risk there. Our global dependence on submarine cables, the backbone of the digital economy, is a critical vulnerability. We see this continuously in our Baltic Sea, just north of Europe. We've had several recent incidents there, but also in Southeast Asia and in the Red Sea, and they all highlight the urgent need for protection of this infrastructure. We're also looking at the maritime hybrid and cyber threats, such as drone surveillance and cyber attacks. Those are escalating all over the world. The EU is one of the targets of such new threats, and we are developing regional cable protection hubs, for example, starting in the Baltic Sea under the leadership of one of our member states, Finland. But of course, technology and patrols are not enough. We need, I think what Martin mentioned, sharing of real-time information. We need coordination, and we need an increasingly strong partnership across the world. And that's also the reason why we are here, and I think this is a really impressive collection of all of you from many different countries. Really pleased to be here. Now, at the heart of our approach is EU Crimario, which we consider to be a flagship program that embodies our commitment to maritime domain awareness, capacity building, and regional ownership. It is more than a project. It is really a community, a trusted network of partners working together to govern their maritime spaces. And at the core of EU Crimario is Ioris, not just a technological platform, but a global operational hub for coordination, communication, and trust. And I am really pleased that many of you, or all of you actually, have signed up to that. Now, Ioris was built on three rather simple principles. First, secure communication, a neutral, encrypted, low bandwidth platform designed for real-world operations at sea. Second, real-time coordination, from piracy incidents to search and rescue missions. Ioris enables rapid, multilingual, cross-agency responses. And the third and final, user governance. Ioris is not an EU tool. It's not our tool. It is your tool. It's your platform, shaped by your needs and governed by this steering committee. Today, over 150 organizations from more than 70 countries, spanning Africa, the Arabian Peninsula, South Asia, the Pacific, Latin America, and the Caribbean, rely on Ioris. Navies, coast guards, fisheries agencies, port authorities, and even merchant ships, some 500 so far, use it to exchange critical intelligence on threats like piracy and IUU fishing, to coordinate operations from counter-narcotics to pollution response, and to build trust through joint exercises and information sharing. Ladies and gentlemen, the European Union promotes maritime strategies, rules-based governance, and resilient partnerships. EU Crimario and Ioris are these principles in action. But of course, technology alone does not create security. Security is built through trust, partnerships, and the willingness to cooperate across borders. Your presence here in Mombasa reflects that shared commitment, and we rely on your experience, on your ideas, and on your action. And that's why over the next 3 years, I think it's really an excellent opportunity to share your experiences, what has been working in your region, what hasn't worked so well, what challenges you face. To think also quite boldly. It's a steering committee. You can really have a clear vision. How can you, or how can we, leverage Ioris to address new threats related to the shadow fleets, CMI threats, and hybrid risks? These are the questions that should be discussed here in a strategic manner. And to commit to action, whether it's piloting a new feature, joining a community area, or contributing to sustainability of the Ioris platform. Let's leave here with clear and measurable next steps. And of course, you can also enjoy Mombasa a little bit. We as the European Union remain fully committed to supporting you in your endeavor. We will continue to invest in Ioris. We will promote its sustainability, ensuring Ioris remains user-governed and fit for purpose. But our success depends on you. Together, we can ensure that Ioris is not just a tool, but a catalyst for a safer, more secure, and more cooperative maritime domain. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andre Shemek. And now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my utmost honor and privilege to invite their Cabinet Secretary for Ministry of Interior and National Administration, Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, to deliver his keynote address and to officially open this high-level meeting. Welcome, Waziri, sir.
Please be seated. Asante sana. Thank you very much. Okay. That should be fine. Thank you. Mr. Ondrek Simic, who is the Deputy Head of Delegation of the EU, Mr. Bruno Scioso, who is our Director General, Mr. Martin Auchi, who is also the EU Climario Director, Mr. Nyarangi, who is the CEO of Kenya Maritime Authority, all the admirals who are here, commanders of the various navies and coast guards. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Jambo. How many people have learned some Kiswahili? It's very simple. Jambo, jambo bwana. Habari gani? Mzuri sana. If you learn that song, you've learned the entire Kiswahili. It's a very simple language. Say jambo, you say jambo. Habari, habari. You don't need to say even mzuri. You can say habari, habari as you keep learning. First of all, welcome to Kenya, which means in Kiswahili, Karibu Kenya. The reason why this Mombasa is very critical for Kenya, this is where Kiswahili, this was a melting point of various cultures. And it's a perfect place for this conference because this is the gateway of Kenya. You will just go around the corner, you will find Fort Jesus. And Vasco da Gama was just here the other day. So you're really following up in the footsteps of historians and explorers who came through this port of Mombasa to be in this country. And therefore, the very perfect place to have a discussion when it comes to maritime security and shared communication in terms of security and common protection for humankind and business. It's with great honor and personal joy that I stand before this esteemed gathering, taking this early opportunity to welcome you all to the nation of Kenya. As we always say in Kenya, this is not just a welcome. We believe that Kenya is home because Kenya is the cradle of mankind and home to diverse people living in harmony and tranquility. Excellencies, admirals, ladies and gentlemen, we are all gathered here for the next 3 days to participate in the 4th Indo-Pacific Regional Information Sharing Platform, Ioris Steering Committee's meeting to co-hosted jointly by the EU, Crimario, and Kenya through the Kenya Coast Guard, leadership of the Kenya Coast Guard Service. On this score, allow me to congratulate both the co-hosts on their sterling partnership and coordination that has made this event possible to be hosted here in Kenya. I appreciate all of you who've traveled. I'm told some of you took the risk to travel when traveling has not been very easy and has not been cheaper. It has been complicated by global events that we are all aware of. This is a laudable convergence of like minds and stakeholders with common purpose for secure and safer seas to deliberate and make critical decisions on how to manage and also cooperate on the governance of shared commons. Since time immemorial, nations in remote corners of the world found a way to trade and interact with each other. Indeed, the discovery of the world itself was made possible through great voyages recorded in history. Communities in what is now Kenya engaged in global trade in the Middle Centuries with the Middle East, India, and far-flung places such as Far East, China, among other countries. Great explorers such as Vasco da Gama helped to open the Western Indian Ocean to wider global trade and navigation. The Portuguese presence that followed led to the construction of Fort Jesus, as I told you earlier, in Mombasa, a landmark that remains one of the region's most significant historical monuments. Ever since, our commons have continued to play a pivotal role in opening international and regional trade, hence boosting global and national economies. The ongoing Middle East crisis is a clear manifestation of how we all suffer when our sea lanes of maritime transport are disrupted. This also includes other maritime-based transnational threats, such as piracy, armed robberies of sea, illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, and dangers of dumping hazardous materials on seabeds, among others. The previous speaker, Martin, spoke about protection of sea cables, protecting also seafarers, protecting fishermen. There's a lot that can be done because there are those maritime threats. Such organized maritime threats pose existential threat to mankind generally and vulnerable populations in particular. I must tell you, I don't know for the countries you come from, but for us here in Kenya, we are suffering immense economic challenges for a war that we have absolutely no role. Yet we have to explain to our local population that prices of goods have gone up, that the price of fuel has gone up, that we are facing economic challenges for something that is very far. Okay, so now the conversation in villages in Kenya is about Strait of Hormuz, and people are asking this Hormuz where it is. Why? Because there have been street protests because of the same. They have, and sometimes they turn a bit ugly. There have been very ugly political conversations about the same. And I sit down sometimes and wonder, and we are all now left in a position where we are helpless and praying every day. You wake up in the morning and you put on CNN hoping that the parties have agreed. And when you see some smoke, white smoke, as we call it, you feel like, yeah, maybe in another 2 months now, our economy will be safe. Meanwhile, if you are in government side and security sector like myself, the problems in the sea, which are insecurities in the sea, become also insecurity in the land, because it is imported by the economic challenges that come with that insecurity in the sea, now transports that problem to become both economic and a political problem for countries that absolutely have no role in the conflict that is going on. And sometimes, and then, you know, political detractors, especially those who want to simplify the message, they just tell people, no, that Strait of Hormuz is very far. It is just this government that is unable to feed its own people. And it has nothing to do to blame other people. And, you know, they take advantage of sometimes the public. So I must say that the conversation about shared future, the threats that we pose, and a conference like this is extremely important. I know sometimes when I travel to go to a conference, for example, I've just come back from UK and the US on an exchange visit for a study on something we are doing in Kenya about our urban security in Nairobi. In most cases, people keep asking, or if the president travels or any other person travels, they keep asking, why must you go? You can Google. And you can do these things online. Thank you very much for coming all the way. Now today I will tell them, you see, in Mombasa we had people from many countries and they didn't Google, they were here. But that's not the only reason. Nothing replaces a one-on-one conversation, you know, and really asking the right questions about the experiences that you have. I believe that beyond the papers that are going to be presented here and the speeches that are going to be read, the most valuable thing you will go with from this conference is the one-on-one conversations you will have over dinner. And in Africa, our best conversations, we always had them under a tree. So I hope that you will have an opportunity to go to the beach under a mnazi tree and have conversations about shared and common benefits that are derived from proper management and use of our seas. And I think that will really enrich and strengthen your ability to work together. And I must say that is the case. So therefore, all these sea threats, sorry, I'd pause somewhere, all these sea threats ought to be stopped. It's for this reason that proactive collaborations and partnerships such as the current interaction happening now are extremely critical. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to sincerely thank the European Union for their collaboration with us in offering practical solutions to existing maritime threats. Kenya has a robust engagement with the EU through the Nairobi mission, and the deputy head of mission is here. Through our various joint targeted interventions, Kenya has enhanced its maritime security and safety and also built requisite capacities and capabilities for tackling maritime threats that we face within our territory. Through Primario programming, Kenya, through her agencies, namely the Kenya Navy, the Kenya Coast Guard Services, Kenya Ports Authority, Kenya Maritime Authority, and lately Border Control and Operation Coordination Committee, is a proud member of the Ioris community that is gathered here today. I am thus fully aware of the benefits accrued to our national security framework, and in particular maritime security and safety, with a great emphasis on freedom of navigation arising out of the deployment of Ioris platform. The platform has also enabled agencies to communicate and share critical information amongst themselves and within the wider global community of members, hence securing our sea lanes and ultimately boosting international maritime based trade. Kenya, through the Kenya Coast Guard Services, went a step further by collaborating with Crimario to develop a breakthrough mobile app named Usalama Baharini, which in translated to English means safety of the sea, that is embedded in Ioris. Through this integration of technologies, Kenya Coast Guard Services is able to leverage the fisher folks at sea in accessing critical security and safety information, enabling timely enforcement reaction. And this has really helped us, not just the sea alone, but also in our lakes. We have our Lake Victoria, which is shared among the 3 East African countries. We have our Lake Turkana, which is shared also among the 3 East Africa countries of Ethiopia, South Sudan, and Kenya. And this app plays a very critical role when it comes to the security, but also safety of our fisher folks. This effectively gives the Kenya Coast Guard a third eye on maritime domain awareness, hence helping improve our maritime security. Excellencies, admirals, ladies and gentlemen, I thank all of you for your presence and for having found time to attend this very important meeting that makes the world more peaceful and secure. Kenya is ready at all times to collaborate with nations and stakeholders to free our common waters of any threats that impede commerce and freedom of navigation. I therefore wish you insightful deliberations reflecting on the past successes and failures, lessons learned, and how to purposely move forward into the future. And above all, beyond the program before you, the networks you establish among yourselves, as I said, matter greatly for maritime security and safety. So make sure you exchange numbers. You have somebody's number from Papua New Guinea. I'm told that there is a delegates from Papua New Guinea. Is that true? Yes, thank you very much. My first job offer was to go to Papua New Guinea. Unfortunately, I looked at the map and it was too far for me to travel. Since then, I hold dearly Papua New Guinea in my heart. I hope to visit there one day. I was to do some trade program with the hubs and spokes program of Commonwealth in my very youthful days, just after campus. And so let's make sure that we exchange numbers. It will reach a day where you want to confirm something in another country. And as I said, those valuable connections are far beyond the papers and the programs and the conference papers that you're going to share here. Lastly, but equally important is this. You are in Mombasa, Kenya's county #1, our national gateway to the world through the sea, and an international renowned and acclaimed tourist destination. We have some of the most idyllic white beaches and all that comes with leisure ecosystem. Not too far from here, in Mombasa, are some of our best safari destinations situated within our vast national parks, which is you have Amboseli, you have Savo East, you have Savo West, very beautiful national parks. Please don't just go back. It may not be easy to get another permission to travel. It's better extend by one day and visit these very important national parks, which are some of the best wild animals, the elephants, the lions, the cheetahs, and the leopards, among others. One of our former officials mistakenly said in a conference, he went out of the country, that also we have tigers, but it's not tigers, it's leopards. It's leopards, they're not tigers in Kenya. Please take some time out of your parks program to enjoy the wildlife diversity that Kenya has on offer, and also sample our local cultures as well as the warmth of Kenya people that we pride ourselves with. In conclusion, I wish you all a pleasant stay and great deliberations. Enjoy your great weather too. It is therefore my singular honor and duty to declare this fourth Indo-Pacific Regional Information Sharing Steering Committee high-level meeting officially open. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Real quick.
Alex.
The Kenyan flag.
Okay. Thank you very much, Excellency, and all the keynote speakers for your insightful perspectives on the importance of Ioris and how it can actually support the so necessary and critical collaboration between maritime organizations to better respond together to complex challenges at sea nowadays. And also, most important, at the same time, to build the trust and necessary reliability between partners. We now will take a break, but not before going to take a family picture. So for that, I invite my colleague Cliffo to explain where this is going to take place and other relevant details. Please, Cliffo.
Thank you, Alex. Okay, we're going to do a quick family photo. The photo will be outside, directly out here. Bjorn will direct you out. So if you follow Bjorn, he will take you to where the photo is going to be captured. What I would ask is there are 2 rows of seats. This is very important. The first row has names on it for the VIPs. Please find your seat and occupy that. Behind that row of 24 seats is a second row. That second row is reserved for tables 1 to 7. Behind that, I would ask for 3 rows of people standing, tallest on the outside, shortest in the middle. Lastly, for those that wish to challenge themselves or those that are height challenged, we have a row of seats behind the standing party. At great risk to yourself, if you'd like to stand on the seat, you can have a photo taken and be seen. So please, if you can follow Bjorn, he will direct us out to where the photos are going to be taken. Thank you.
Chair. Oh, yeah.
Okay, we will start with the first session. If you please like to take your chairs. The
If they don't know,
Cliffo. What is that? Okay, everybody, if you can please take your seats, we are going to start. Okay, welcome back everybody. We are going to start. We have 1 hour plus delay. So without further ado, I will going to jump into the first session. The first session for today is called Ioris in support of shipping security. If you can stop the music, please. So the first session is called Ioris for shipping security, and it's aimed to present relevant cases and discuss what we have done and what we still plan to do in that direction, which is Ioris supporting shipping industry and also connectivity with the shipping. Since this session is very dense, with no further delay, I will invite on the stage the moderator, Mr. Diego Canovas, and the speakers to come on stage, please. So you know already who are the speakers on the first session, please. Yeah, you can present them. Yeah.
I will call for them,
yeah,
one by one. Okay, you can proceed with it.
Yeah, yeah. So you can call.
No, you can proceed with the slide.
No, call them first on the stage.
Good morning, please, the panelists, Mr. P.H. Lavish, Lieutenant Commander Charlotte Berg. Okay, Mr. Lavish will be representing All Indian, it's the French Joint Command in the region. Then from CMF, CTF 151, Lieutenant Commander Charlotte Berg, and also Commander from the Colombian Navy, Jose Porto, is here. Representing the Puntland Maritime Police Force is the Colonel Mohamed Yama. Please, Colonel. Thank you. From the Royal Thai Navy, Captain Nopun Raquel. And finally, from the Philippine Maritime Industry Authority, Marina, is Mr. Luis de los Santos.
Take a seat and I will do that. Okay, so before the session starts, as I discussed with you, as I told you, we are going to do the few questions relevant for this session on the Slido. So now please you open your phones and access the web application and respond to the first question. We are not going to show you the question because it's already on your phone. We are just going to show you the results so far. So the question was, how many vessels do you think have been accompanied or escorted in the Red Sea through with the support of Ioris? So this is just a guess, okay? It's not necessarily a right or wrong question. We have a relatively, let's say, accurate response to that, but we will show you afterwards. So how many ships do you think have been escorted with the support of Ioris? So you have 1 minute to respond to this question before we pass to the next question. Another 30 seconds. Ten seconds. Okay, so now, as you can see, these are your answers. And I think the application already gave you an indication which is the correct one, relatively. Okay, over 500 ships have been escorted, being supported by Ioris. Next question will now show up on your application. So the question is, does your organization work with the maritime industry or to connect with the shipping? So quite an important number, as you can see, quite an important percentage of your organization, as expected, have been working with the maritime industry and maritime shipping. Another 30 seconds. Okay, the percentage is still high, so we can pass to the next question, please. What are your current limitations and challenges in communicating with the shipping industry, including vessels at sea? You can tick as many answers as you consider appropriate. Quite a few challenges, as you can see on the screen: technical, operational, legal, cultural, and others that are not applicable here. So you actually confirmed to everybody like that is a quite complex aspect when it deals with communication with ships. Okay, I think that was the last question, right? And now, thank you very much. You will continue after the session with the next slide of questions, but for now, I pass the floor to Mr. Diego Canovas.
Thank you very much, Alex. So as we are, sir, ma'am, ladies and gentlemen, dear panelists, friends, as we are well behind the agenda, I will ask you very kindly to adhere to the time. You will have no more than 8 minutes, including Combined Maritime Forces representatives who are 2. And I will provide an example, hopefully, because I will be the first one. So please, my presentation. Okay, in the next 7 or 8 minutes, I will briefly explain. Well, we were asked to speak about some specific cases in which we use Ioris from Atalanta. But everybody knows, just in case, I would like to mention this in 10 seconds. So Atalanta was launched in 2008. So in November, December this year, we will be 18 years operating. So that's obviously, we have been developing a very strong and very robust and very loyal network with Somalia authorities, of course, including the federal government, Puntland, and other entities there, and also our own platform, which is, strictly speaking, focused on law enforcement. So once this is clarified in advance, so we are going to explain very briefly the 3 latest cases for piracy. There was, as you know, you must be aware that we have 3 hijacked vessels at anchor within territorial water, which is very important to take it into account because we have several regimes coexisting at the same time. There's an UNCLOS, Atalanta legal framework, Somalia is a sovereign state. Somalia criminal code, that's important. So we have several regimes coexisting at the same time, and it is the case in the sea, at sea. Okay, it is nothing. It's not simple. So on the 23rd of April, we had an alert. So the motor tanker Honor 25 was pirated, and also motor tanker Eureka. It was an armed robbery case because it was hijacked in Yemen within territorial waters, but it was taken to the Somali basin, again to Somali territorial waters, and they remain at anchor there. And then motor vessel Sword. Okay, Sword. So that's the case. As you can see, you will see now some Intel picture. Please don't take picture of this. We cannot share this picture. So this is an example of what we pass to Somali authorities. So you can see the flags was Palau, Togo, and St. Kitts and Nevis. Okay, this is more or less the movement. So the dotted lines is our unit, because of course this is a vast area, so we need logistic support. But we have two frigates we had two frigates, MPRA, the Spanish MPRA, and of course we hold a very special cooperation with CTF 151 and their asset. That's the reason why there is a Japanese MPRA there. Okay, this is some picture taken from our sensor, okay? As you can see, so there is not only, there was RPGs, also heavy machine guns, so they fortify the vessel. So in some of the vessels, they are more than 30 pirates on board, because they are pressed up by the Somali authorities from shore. Okay, you see the hostages there? It's pirates. A lot of them, some intel from campsite from the coast. Everything was passed to Puntland Maritime Police Force and the Coast Guard in Mogadishu, that's the federal government. And now we are coming to Ioris, because it's the point of my presentation. So you have here the anchor position of the vessel. Sometimes they move anchor in position, but again, they are inside territorial waters. That's important. Okay, so there was an alert through Ioris. Why through Ioris to us? Because Ioris is playing a key role in our relations through platform for information sharing with Somali authorities. This is important. That's the reason why we are explaining these cases. Okay, so there was an alert posted in Ioris, so we exchange information in Ioris, and at the same time we post for law enforcement. We anticipated in Mercury, because in Mercury maybe there might be some agencies that they are not in Ioris yet. So and the focus is different. So we have here a report on motor tanker Sword. Sorry, it's not a motor tanker, it's a motor vessel. Somebody made a mistake. So the cargo was fertilizers, okay, for Sword. The other two was product, no crude oil, product. Okay, so again, another report through Ioris regarding the motor tanker Honor. What are my key takeaways for this, just to keep myself within the time, hopefully. So Atalanta uses Ioris to match regional nation requirement on info and information sharing, mainly Somalian and other stakeholders. We use Ioris as a platform complementary to our own tool. That's Mercury. Is well established, but it is law enforcement focused. Of course, we have to support European Union project. It is within our mandate. It is within Atalanta's mandate. I think my operation commander is it. And we consider Ioris a valuable tool for information sharing with regard to real incident response. The incident response is key in all the process. It's not only receiving timely an incident report, but we have to respond very quickly. And that's all from my side. I hope I have been disciplined. Okay, now it is my pleasure to pass the floor to Commander Guillaume Benot from All Indian. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Excellencies, sir, ladies, officers, gentlemen, friends, Jumbo. I'm the Commander Guillaume from the French Forces Headquarters in Abu Dhabi. And it's an honor for me to give you my French inputs. So first, why a French officer will speak about Indian Ocean, Red Sea? Very simple. I would like to remind you some geographic reality. France is not just a European nation, but also a coastal country of Indian Ocean. Can you put a slide, please? Yes. So its territory extends to Indian region thanks to territories such as La Réunion and Mayotte, and it's about 2.8 million square kilometers of EEZ and more than 1.3 million of French citizens in the Indian Ocean. So France permanently deploys French troops in French territories, of course, but also presents forces based in Djibouti and in the Emirates with 2 joint commands. These joint regional commands represent over 7,000 deployed permanently to reach or added 700 on mission from time to time. The system, which is completed by a network of 11 defense attachés, ensures a geographical coverage, allowing to ensure the protection and security of French territories and the EEZ. The area of responsibility of Al Indien is from Suez Canal to the Strait of Malacca. And in fact, the common problem is not one sea, but an arc of connected maritime system. And in this area, a lot of threats. What kind of challenges we can find in this area? Conflicts, first. State and non-state conflicts threaten regional stability, freedom of navigation, and the security of maritime trade routes in the Indian Ocean and the Middle East. The ongoing conflict between Iran, the US, Israel poses a vital threat to societies, whether in the Middle East or in the rest of the world. Terrorism, terrorist groups can rapidly grow from scratch to organized armed groups threatening states and population. Piracy. In the last 3 weeks, more or less 2 attacks were occurred in the Gulf of Aden. Traffic, illegal trafficking networks, weapons, drugs, or illicit goods. Human smuggling, illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, pollution, climate change. And for all these threats, we need to have the cooperation of all the states in the region, and all we proceed in our headquarters. In fact, we don't use Ioris in the headquarters for the military activities, but in one agency, which is MICA-EO for Indian Ocean. And MICA-EO is a branch of the Maritime Information Cooperation and Awareness Center, which this agency is based in Brest, under the direct authority of the Deputy for Operation of the Chief of Staff for the French Navy. The objectives: collect, verify, and relay useful information relating to security events to all actors in the field of maritime industry. And for that, we have three main branches, one for the Pacific Ocean, one for the Indian Ocean. It's the MICA office. the Voluntary Naval Cooperation and NCACS agency, and one for the Gulf of Guinea. And this agency in Brest is also linked with the European operation with Atalanta and Aspides with the MSCIO for Maritime Security Center in the Indian Ocean. And with all the agency, we have a world coverage, and we can share information with all these agencies. Just an example, to reassure the maritime industry, enhance security and the benefit of seafarer, and to be able to support the protection of sea line of communications. And especially about the MICA EO for Indian Ocean. You can see the main topics of these activities. It sounds like Ioris. First, it's based on voluntary exchanges. When we share information, it's free. And we share information why? For maritime safety, with trusted partners. And we use this agency, it's not only for French companies, but for all foreigner companies. And why? For the maritime world trade. And we need a tool to alert in case of accident, to publish weekly evaluation, to respond specific requests, to publish on dedicated websites. And we use Ioris for this. Yes. The use of Ioris is on daily basis for ops with the civilian, to broadcast information, to share, and to do the situation awareness. Example, in October 2025, one information given by a friend from the Yemeni Coast Guard, we can broadcast the information, and we can also, with the link of our GOC, to broadcast the information to the all military assets, and to be able to conduct an operation against this threat. So Ioris for us, it's very important and really useful tool to be able to do a gateway between the military operation and the civilian. And for the shipping, now, with the situation in Strait of Hormuz and Bab el-Mandeb Strait, it's very important to have this kind of tool and to be able to discuss with all the partners in the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Guillaume, for your discipline. You don't take my papers. Okay. Thank you very much. Please have a seat. Now it is my pleasure to pass the floor to Lieutenant Commander Charlotte Bogue and Commander Jose Porto. Please follow Commander Bernard Wakes.
Good morning, sirs, ma'ams, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lieutenant Commander Charlotte Bogue, representing both the Royal Navy and CMF. Assistant Chief of Staff for CTF 151, and Jose Porto is our Chief of Staff for CTF 151. So this is the agenda. I'll just give an overview of CMF and CTF 151. We'll talk about the Middle East conflict challenges and Ioris, and then we'll go to conclusions and remarks. Oh, sorry. So that's our command team. So our commander is a US Vice Admiral Kurt Renshaw, and the Deputy Commander of CMF is Commodore Dan Thomas of the Royal Navy, and our commander of CTF 151 is Captain Jason Eacock. So for those of you that don't know what CMF is, it's the largest multinational maritime coalition made up of 47 different nations to uphold the international rule-based order, to counter illicit non-state actors, promote security, stability and prosperity across 3.2 million square nautical miles of international water, and protect the world's most important SLOCs. That's west of the Suez, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, and the Straits of Hormuz. So that just depicts our CMF member countries. Since 2002, we've been operating, and we work in conjunction with EU NAVFOR, OPERSPIDES, and Atalanta, and also UNITAR. That's just the CMF nations depicted on a map. So what do we do? Primarily, we focus on counter-narcotics, counter-smuggling, suppressing piracy, and humanitarian crisis. So our operational structure, as I've already alluded to, we're a US 3-star, a UK 1-star, and then we're divided into 5 separate task groups. So that's CTF 150, currently led by Pakistan, to conduct maritime security operations in the Gulf of Oman, Indian Ocean, and CTF 151 conducting counter-piracy operations around the Horn of Africa, Somali Basin, and right down to the Seychelles. CTF 152 currently led by Qatar, and that's maritime security operations in the Arabian Gulf. CTF 153 maritime security operations in the Red Sea, led by Egypt, and CTF 154, which is maritime security enhancement training. So that's assurance for the other CTFs, currently led by India. And one of the member countries will usually take command for anywhere between 6 and 12 months. So this is just our areas of responsibility depicted on a map. So 150 in green, which is obviously quite a large area, 151 in the brown, 152 in red, and 153 in the yellow. And as we're CTF 151, these are our units that we routinely have. So that's 1 Japanese MPA, usually 1 Japanese unit, and 1 vessel from the Republic of Korea, as well as having other units in associated support where possible. So the Middle East and the conflicts that we've come under recently. I've got videos here, but I don't know if they'll play. Oh, there we go. So we're normally located, our HQ is normally located in NSA in Bahrain, which is also home to the US Fifth Fleet. Now, unfortunately, due to Operation Epic Fury and the subsequent conflict in the Middle East, it's not safe to operate there anymore. So what for us, that means a lot of our personnel and HQ staff return to their home countries, either under national tasking or still working for CMF remotely. For myself, I'm still in Bahrain with a small team, and we're operating from apartments and hotels separately. So that means that our command and control platforms are no longer viable to us. We normally operate on Centrix, for those of you who know that, the US system, but we are unable to do so now as we don't have it anymore. So working in dispersed posture, as I'm sure you know, and we've already alluded to, the information flow is very important. It kind of lacks when you're all not in the same place. So we've come under a lot of challenges, as I've already said, under the C2 structure, reliability and timely communications with our units that we're taking command of and other organizations, as well as maritime domain awareness. And that's when our Chief of Staff told us about Ioris, which I've already been told started in the UK, apparently. He's from Colombia. I had no idea about it before. He told us about it, and CTF 151 started to utilize the platform. It's essentially a lifeline for us to resume normal operations, and in my opinion, that's made us the most operationally effective task force within CMF. And I'll just pass over to Jose for a bit more detail on that.
Thank you. So the first thing that I thought as soon as the Epic Fury operation starts, and we lost the communication, the first thing I think was, okay, what could be the solution? And immediately Ioris come to me as the main solution for regain the command and control. Because as you saw in the video, the first hit was to the antennas in the Bahrain naval base. So we lost Centrix, but we still need to speak with the units in the area of operation. So immediately I call my friends Diego, because I meet Diego in Colombia, and he, as soon as possible, helped me to contact to the Ioris team. So Eli was very important for us because immediately he created a community area for the CMF, and we started to talk with our own units, especially with the Korean ship units, and even we were able to talk with the other authorities like Yemen, Djibouti, Kenyan, etc. So this is like a
timeline events during February when the Epic Fury operation starts, and how Ioris help us to regain not only for sharing information, even for command and control, because our environment is a maritime security, it's not defense. So it's a secure platform to share information. Even we create a season for training for all the CMF members. After that, we create a focus operation Vigilantia Maris, and the main platform was Ioris. So this is an example. Since March, we have been management more than 10 piracy events, 2 of them with a very good resolution, supported by Atalanta, EUNOFOR, and even other countries as India Navy. This is an example of Vigilantia Maris focus operation, and we use Ioris as the main platform for sharing information and communication. So for conclusions, I want to say thanks to all the Ioris team, because the support was very fast and very useful. And this is the message that I want to share with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Charlotte and Jose, for your discipline. Now it is my pleasure and my honor to pass the floor to Colonel Mohammed Jamal from the Puntland Maritime Police Force. Please take the floor.
Good morning, comrades. Good morning. I just want to give you a short snap of the parent incident in Somalia, as well as the how others assisted during the controversy operation, us and the other maritime stakeholders in the region. I just want to move on to the next slide because of all the pirate pictures, incidents, and already been presented by the Atlanta and my other colleague. My name is Colonel Mohammed Jama. I'm from Puntland Maritime Police Force. I'm especially at the northeast Somalia, where the most of the crime is listed by Martin took places. But especially, I just want to focus on the current major threat in Somalia, which is the piracy, and the residues of piracy that caused by many factories. It could be internally, regionally, and internationally. Also, want to mention that even the momentum of the pirate are very, very high. And as we see in the as we see in the incidents that took place for the last couple of months, there are so many. There is like the first incident took place in 20 April, Al Khairtu, then hijacked by 21 on Honor, and the last tanker vessel being attacked. I mean, it was 2nd May, so it takes like 10 to 12 days being hijacked, successfully hijacked in 3 vessels. So the momentum is very high. And also the capability of the current pirate is very high due to they can go to the sea and spend like 10 days in the sea. And also they changed the tactics because they previously they used to use like a small skiffs, but currently they are hijacking the Iranian and Yemeni vessels to use as a mothership. Then they can go beyond our territorial water, like 400 to 500 nautical mile southeast of Mogadishu. And also they used to attack before like 50 to 60 nautical mile from Somali territorial water, but now it sees that it is cross border, and the last vessel being attacked, one of the anchors, or maybe close to the Yemeni territorial water. So it shows that they are cross border and they are not imminent threat to only Somalia, but they are threat to the other regional countries around the Somali waters. I just want to mention some of the crucial points for that assist us the Ioris platform with this current contemporary operation, and is having real-time incident reporting, where it was like very, very difficult in 2010 or maybe 2008 to have incident reporting on spot. Also, it gives you exact location where the two hijack took place, and also gives you like tracking the vessel, analyze the pattern of the attacking vessel, all that stuff. And also, Ioris enhanced the monitoring hijacking vessels where we can monitor the hijacking vessels while some of the Bulan Maritime Police forces are on the shoreline just to deny and restrict the bird movement is, and also the Atlanta are on the sea. So when we are in our HQ Bosaso operation, we can see the vessel movement, and also enhance the operational and coordination with other maritime security stakeholders in the area, and also coordinated the counter-terrorism operation responses between BMBF and other maritime security stakeholders in the region, like Atlanta, and also the other CMF, CTF, all that stuff. And also, the other thing that which is most important is for the security is trust building among the maritime stakeholders and the regional, because security is something that need trust. And as we see it in this operation, the counter operation by the sea that we have right now, we use very sensitive information and operational information with other counterparty like Atlanta, and that also one of the core pillars of that Ioris put in place. And also I can say from the other side of the trust, Crimario bring different maritime stakeholders all over the world together. So bringing together and sitting together and coming here and meeting face to face, that also created the trust among the maritime stakeholders in the region. And that's, I just want to conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Colonel, for your discipline. So now it is also my honor to pass the floor to Royal Thai Navy Captain Panupun Rakeo. Please, sir, take the floor.
So good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting the Royal Thai Navy and giving us a chance to present on the topic of the role of the Royal Thai Navy in enhancing connectivity with the maritime industry under naval cooperation and guidance for shipping. So the agenda for today is shown on the slides. So in 2024, the Primario 2 project introduced the Ioris platform to the Royal Thai Navy, subsequently conducting full training, illustration for Navy personnel. The Royal Thai Navy recognized that the Ioris platform is highly effective for joint utilization for both public agencies and private sector stakeholders. Furthermore, the system excels at facilitating interagency data exchange, thereby enhancing both domestic and international coordinations. The Royal Thai Navy is currently seeking approval from the Ministry of Defense to officially adopt the Ioris platform for operational duties and authorization to sign an Ioris partnership agreement with the Primario. The Royal Thai Navy has a key mission to protect the sea lines of communications which are strategic maritime routes trial, vital to national security, particularly for the importance of energy resources from the overseas, including the crude oil and the LPG, which are essential to the country's economic development and energy security. Recognizing the need to ensure the continuous safety and security of these transportation routes, the RTN has identified the PTT public company as a pilot partner for cooperation, given that the PTT is responsible for importing more than 70% of the nation's energy supply. In July 2023, the Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Thai Navy and the Chief Executive Officer of the PTT public company signed a memorandum of understanding on enhancing maritime energy transportation route security between the Royal Thai Navy and the PTT company. The scope of this cooperation encompasses 3 key areas: the information sharing, the operational coordination, and the public relations. In 2026, the Royal Thai Navy has come to recognize that the Ioris platform can be effectively utilized for maritime situational monitoring and interagency information exchange. Following the successful completion of the Train-the-Trainer program by the Royal Thai Navy and the ThaiMec personnel partner with the Korea Marine 2 to conduct Ioris operational training for the international transportation management staff of the PTT company. The objective of this initiative is to employ the Ioris as a core tool for tracking the PTT charter tankers, enabling both organizations to share a synchronized common operation picture. Furthermore, the platform allows the PTT to seamlessly transmit details voyage documentary directly to the RTN MISC. In January 2026, the RTN and the PTT company conducted the NAV Guardian Exercise 2026 to rehearse the protection of the sea lines of communication. A tabletop exercise and a joint planning session for the upcoming field training exercise were conducted at the 1st Naval Area Command headquarters. Participants include the RTN NCAC cells, the 1st Naval Area Command, the PTT public company, as well as assigned naval vessels and the air assets. Notably, the Ioris system was used on a trial basis during the TTX and the FTX exercise. During the FTX phase, we established the dedicated operational zones on the Ioris platform, including the voluntary reporting area, the waiting area, the high-risk area, and the transit corridor. Furthermore, the critical documentation and operational reporting, such as the sailing instruction, the escort requests, where the initial report, the daily transit reports were exchanged through the platform messaging and private chat functions. This capability proved highly beneficial for our joint mission coordination. In February 2026, a field training exercise was conducted within the upper part of the Gulf of Thailand. Participating units include the RTN NCAC cells, the corvette class, the patrol boat, the maritime patrol aircraft, and the UAV alongside with the PTT public company limited oil tanker. The sea phase training exercise focused on escorting the 300,000 tons oil tanker through the high-risk water. Upon the tanker arrival at the rendezvous point, training operations commenced as planned and were successfully concluded when the vessel cleared the recommended transit corridor. The exercise evaluation indicated that the Ioris platform is highly effective for interagency information exchange. However, a latency issue was identified with the platform AIS tracking, which required operators to manually plot and track the vessel position. The technical tracking latency has already been reported to the Ioris system development for further optimizations. During the RTN Navy annual exercise earlier this May, we once again conduct a joint oil tanker escort drill with the PTT. And for this scenario, the PTT deployed a tanker with a displacement of more than 100,000 tons This collaboration highlights the continual commitment of both organizations to the safeguard vital energy transportation routes and maintaining the regional security. So to command and track the situation, we relied on our maritime domain awareness system, Ioris, the Civision, and the RTN-owned C4ISR. We found that the Ioris platform is moderately stable and requires very little bandwidth, allowing ships to continuously update the operational picture so that the command centers can maintain a near real-time situation overview. However, we did identify one limitation, that the AIS tracking on the Ioris currently experiences some delay in comparison with other platforms and the ship position much more frequently. Even so, the Ioris is incredibly useful for collaborating with the private sector because it operates on the unclassified level. And looking ahead, after the IPA has been signed, the Royal Navy is planning to introduce the Ioris to commercial vessels in future exercise. In addition to its utilization during the exercise, the Ioris platform has been used as a trial basis in the daily operations of the RTN MISC. The Royal Navy routinely tracks the PTT charter oil tanker in collaboration with the PTT personnel via the platform. This ensures that the both organizations maintain a synchronized common operation pictures. The Royal Thai Navy accompanied the Ioris representative to brief the Thai Ships Owner Association in Bangkok. The objective is to introduce the Ioris capability to track and monitor the Thai flag vessels. So as previously mentioned, the Royal Thai Navy is still waiting approval from the Ministry of Defense for the organization to sign the IPA with the Korean Mail. However, Ioris is a highly beneficial platform for maximizing maritime domain awareness efficiencies. Crucially, effective MDA extends far beyond simply displaying visual vessel position plots on a computer screen. Rather, it is the comprehensive exchange of the data among domestic, international, and the private sector stakeholders. So, and this is conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is also paper. Thank you very much, sir. And now, last but not least, the representative of the Philippine Maritime Industry Authority, Das Marina, Mr. Luis de los Santos. Please take the floor, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, distinguished delegates, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor to share to you the Philippine perspective on the Ioris platform and its value to a flag administration. For a maritime nation such as the Philippines, information is not merely data. Information saves lives. Information protects seafarers. Information supports maritime security. Most importantly, information enables governments and maritime authorities to make timely and informed decisions during emergencies and crises. The Philippines is one of the world's largest archipelagic nations, composed of more than 7,600 islands and over 36,000 kilometers of coastline. Maritime transport carries approximately 99.5% of our domestic trade, making shipping the backbone of our national connectivity and economic development. The Philippines is also one of the world's leading suppliers of maritime professionals. At any given time, more than 500 Filipino seafarers are on board international vessels across the globe. Their contribution not only support international shipping, but also provide billions of dollars in remittances that have sustained the Philippine economy. Because of our geographic realities and our maritime dependence, maritime safety, maritime security, and the protection of seafarers are not merely sectoral concerns, they are our national priorities. This is where the strategic value of the Ioris platform becomes evident. Recent global events have demonstrated the growing complexity of maritime operations. The conflict in the Black Sea and the security challenges in the Red Sea have shown how quickly maritime solutions can evolve and how significantly they can affect ships, cargoes, and seafarers. We have witnessed ships stranded in ports, disruption in crew changes, longer voyage durations, and heightened risk to merchant vessels. Filipino seafarers, like many others, have been directly affected by these developments. Likewise, Philippine flagged ships operating internationally have faced increased operational and uncertainty and security concerns. For a flag state administration such as the Philippines, one of the greatest challenges during such situation is obtaining accurate, timely, and actionable information. Ioris helps address this challenge through enhanced information sharing and collaboration. Ioris allows participating agencies and maritime stakeholders to maintain a common operational picture. It facilitates a timely exchange of information, improves situational awareness, and supports coordinated decision-making. For the Philippines, the value of Ioris can be viewed in four important areas. First, it enables timely information exchange regarding the location and status of Philippine registered vessels and affected Filipino seafarers on board Philippine flagships. Second, it strengthens situational awareness by providing better visibility of risk, incidents, and emerging maritime threats. Third, it improves coordination during emergencies by connecting multiple agencies and stakeholders to a common platform. And fourth, it enhances support for seafarers by facilitating faster response, assistance, welfare support, and when necessary, repatriation efforts. The recent Alalayan simulation exercise in Manila further demonstrated how Ioris can strengthen preparedness and interagency cooperation through real-time information sharing and coordinated operational planning. Participating agencies are able to develop a more effective and unified response to maritime incidents. From the perspective of the Philippines, Ioris isn't merely a technological platform, it is an operational enabler. It transforms information into coordinated action. So as we look ahead, the Philippines remains fully committed to strengthening regional maritime cooperation. We support stronger information sharing mechanisms among maritime administrations, coast guards, navies, law enforcement agencies, and other maritime stakeholders. We support initiatives that enhance maritime safety, maritime security, and the protection of seafarers. We also recognize the importance of digital transformation in modern maritime governance. Looking into the future, we see several areas where Ioris can continue to evolve and create greater value. This includes strengthening support mechanisms for seafarers during crisis and conflict situations, enhancing search and rescue information sharing, expanding cooperation against maritime security threats, improving interoperability among maritime agencies, and promoting wider participation and capacity building among member states. Ultimately, the success of Ioris will not be measured solely by technology. Its success will be measured by its ability to save lives, protect seafarers, secure maritime trade, and strengthen cooperation among nations. For the Philippines, every seafarer protected, every ship assisted, and every maritime incident better managed through cooperation represents a tangible contribution toward safer seas and stronger maritime governance. Allow me to conclude with this message. In an increasingly interconnected maritime world, no nation can address maritime challenges alone. Through platforms such as the Ioris, we can move beyond simply knowing what is happening at sea. We can understand it together, respond together, and build a safer, more secure, and more resilient future for all of us. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Mr. De Los Santos, for keeping the discipline in your presentation. Now we will move within this agenda item to another point. This is the Ioris development. So I will call, please, our colleagues and friend Kelly, who will speak about Ioris development, Ioris mobile phone application, Marcom application, Ioris ship variant. Please take the floor.
Thank you, Diego. So, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about the Ioris development that would fit some of the gaps that our colleagues have been speaking about in their presentations. And also I'll hook up to the final sentence of our colleague from Philippines, who were requesting to have connection with their seafarers. The Philippines is known to have the largest number of seafarers globally. So in this presentation, I will address that as well, and I'll try to be very quick to respect the time. So do I have the stick? It's here. So development vision. First, I'm going to talk about the Ioris mobile app. Second, about the Marcom app already mentioned by Martin in the first speech. And the third about the Ioris ship variant. So the question is, why are we now focusing on these developments and not others? First, the mobile app to increase accessibility of Ioris anywhere, everywhere, by all the operators, by masters, by captains of merchant shippings. Marcom app to strengthen global maritime communication and reporting for seafarers, fishers, and recreational boaters. Third, Ioris ship variant to extend Ioris to the shipping industry. It's going to be an Ioris version specifically for the shipping industry. So our main objective is to make Ioris available and relevant wherever and whenever operators need it for coordination. One, we'll start with the Ioris mobile app. And on this picture, you see a master or a captain on a merchant vessel using their phone on the bridge, which is a common situation where they are mostly accessible on their phones and mostly connected to their phones, especially nowadays with the smartphones where everything is on their phones using the business Wi-Fi on the ships. The Ioris mobile app, the purpose of the app is basically to have an Ioris connectivity through a mobile phone or through a tablet. So not only on your web-based platform, on your computers, on your laptops, but also through your phones. The key features, it will enable secure fingerprint connection. So you don't have to always type your password, your email, etc. Once you log in the first time, then you'll be able to log in just using your fingerprints, your code of the mobile phone, or any other type of facial recognitions that you might have. Incident reporting, just the same as on Ioris. Exactly the same. You can report messages, alerts, markers on the map, etc. But for me, the most important feature on the Ioris mobile app is the push notification. Because right now, if you receive an alert in your community area or a message or anything, and you're not on your desk and you're not on your laptop, you will not be alerted. There is no way except just alerting yourself through emails, through the platform, but through the application, you will receive push notifications for whatever you want to be notified about. So you can customize the notifications as well. We can also attach documents, photos, just as on Ioris, the web-based platform. The benefits, of course, the faster reporting and faster receiving of reports, increased user adoption and support for remote and deployed personnel. Second, the Marcom app. And the Marcom app to strengthen global maritime communication reporting for seafarers. On this picture, you see seafarers on a merchant vessel. And in 2025, already mentioned as well by Martin, that there was more than 6,000 seafarers were abandoned on 410 ships. 2025. We haven't yet talked about 2026, which is going to be way worse because of the conflicts right now in the world. So, and that was the worst year for crew abandonment. So the records is being broken year after year. Now the text is not clear, but the Secretary General of the IMO has mentioned in April, 22nd of April this year, so just a month ago, that there was around 20,000 seafarers on around 1,600 vessels. They are remaining in the Gulf, in the Arabian Gulf, stuck on the vessels that are still awaiting the passage through the Strait of Hormuz. So the seafarers version of the Marcom app. The Marcom app for seafarers, the purpose is a dedicated maritime reporting application interfaced with Ioris. Interface with Ioris means that whenever a seafarer sends a message through the app, the relevant authority will receive the message on Ioris itself. So it's interconnected with Ioris, but the seafarers, they have no Ioris accounts, they have no Ioris access, they have only access to the Marcom app, and that's enough to relay the message to Ioris. Provides an accessible and structured mechanism to connect seafarers with responsible maritime authorities. The key features: access for seafarers is number one. Second, secure reporting of welfare, labor issues, confidential reporting with attachment, pictures, videos, voice notes, and position-enabled communication. They can activate their GPS position, and they can relay the position within the message to the authority. Low connectivity. It means that if the seafarers, for any reason, they are not connected to the internet for a period of time, the application itself will still record their position in the cache. And then once they are connected again, the reported or the recorded positions will be still relayed and transferred to the authority. So they can see even an offline track of their past positions. Direct communication with authorities as well, and the benefits, of course, the seafarers will be able to report from now on abuse, contract violation, unpaid wages, unsafe working conditions, and crew abandonment. Automatic routing of reports. The routing will work in a way that we can configure. So the configuration can be done by our team, by our team of developers. It depends on the situation, depending on the authority, the mother authority of each seafarer. Can you go back? So the last and not least is the Ioris ship variant. So this is now an AI-generated image screenshot of the Marcom app, how we envisage, how we imagine it would look like in the future once it is done. It is now still a plan to start development hopefully soon, but this is what we envisage, to have an account for a seafarer, and they will be able to report whatever is being listed for an options. Now, the ship variant. If you're all familiar with Ioris Prime and Lite, when you click on the Prime version, you can switch to Lite. Now we will add more options to that, which are the ship variants. The first ship variant we're going to talk about today is the Ioris for ships. Later on, in the other presentations, I will introduce you to Ioris Ports, Ioris Fish, Ioris SAR. First one is Ioris for ships. Whoever switched to Ioris ships, the plan is right now, as I said, it is in the early stages of planning. We welcome your ideas. Please, if you have any ideas related to this topic, send them to us, share them with your country rep, and they will relay them to us to hopefully include them in the development. But the plan right now is voluntary reporting, system and escort request forms for vessels, suspicious activity reporting, trusted security, community areas for merchant shipping, And silent security alert button, this is something also to be discussed later, and security advisory, threat map, and risk matrix for ships in each region. It's going to be regional more than global, but this is the initial plan right now. Thank you so much. That's the presentation now for the first set of Ioris developments. See you later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eli. Don't go away too far. Okay, so now the floor is open for discussion on Ioris ship variant. If anybody of you, sirs, madam, want to make any remark, ask any question?
Thank you, Diego. Thank you to all the panelists, first of all. Really good insight into how Ioris can and is supporting the merchant shipping community. I just want to underline one point, appreciating that we have lunch next. The need for an Ioris version on the mobile phone actually came about from merchant mariners, because when they were being escorted in the Red Sea by frigates, they needed to be in the bridge wing. And so they needed to see where they were going and what they were doing and not behind the computer. And they actually asked for a mobile version of the mobile app. So that's where it comes from the merchant shipping community. Anyway, if anyone has any more questions or ideas you'd like to share, please go ahead. There's one at the back over there from MATS, Maritime Star Council.
Hi, thanks everybody. It's a question for Ellie actually to do with the Marcom app. Is there a plan to link the app to the ITF and other agencies to allow the reporting of things like unpaid wages and other conditions to the ITF for action, basically?
So there is no plan right now to link it to the ITF, but the seafarers themselves, if they have their own links, of course, they can include those as an attachment, but basically they will be reporting to the authority that gave them access to the Marcom app. This is the plan right now. The authority will give them the unique access code and they will be able to report to that authority according to the routing plan.
Use the mic.
Thank you for your presentation. Really, it was good. And there is something we have never mentioned here. Before we use the Ioris, especially on behalf of the federal government of Somalia, it was difficult to share information from federal and federal member state level. And also, we needed to consider that it helps us as commanders to make the right decision on time. So I really appreciated this, and the most important thing is to upgrade and also to continue for the people to have the same skill and same understanding. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cloro. Any other question, remarks, concern? Now I would kindly ask if any agency here present is going to participate in this, can tell us now or later. Okay, so let's move to, thank you very much, Martin. Let's move to slide 3. Again, a multi-choice exam from Crimario. You'll be ready to Okay. Okay, so do you think Ioris can improve interagency communication with the shipping industry? So please reply. Okay, let's move to the next one. Artur, should I do it? Okay, would you like your organization to use Ioris to communicate with shipping? So now we have the score. So 87% yes, 13 unsure, and what is more important, there is no answer in negative way. Okay. Let's move to the next one. Would you like to participate in the Ioris ship variant working group? There is another vast majority of affirmative replies. Is it the end? So I will. Okay, so thank you very much for your answer. The part of the audience that would like to participate in this, you please come to me later until give me the names to pass it to Crimario staff. So again, so just to close this agenda item, I would like to tell our panelists, thank you very much for your discipline. You are much more disciplined than myself. So thank you very much. Please, let's give them an applause. And I will revert the floor to the master of the ceremony, Alex.
Thank you, Diego, very much. And a big round of applause for our first session finalists. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that very important discussion. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, lunch will be served at the Jumbo Garden Restaurant. It is located straight from the main entrance. Then you're going to take a slight right past where we have a very beautiful garden, but again, you will be guided. We kindly request that we be back seated a few minutes to 13:50 hours in time for the afternoon session. Again, for the delegates who may not have the meal coupons, you are requested to have with you the tags that will ensure that you are served at the restaurant. Distinguished delegates, Enjoy your lunch.